What's going on, everybody? It's Chris from Out West with Chris, and I'm out here on beautiful Goose Lake fishing from a boat with my old man. We are going to be fishing for some trout today, and I think we've got a tip that you guys can use to catch trout up here. So, foolproof. As I mentioned earlier in the video, a couple weekends ago, my family met up in Washington State near a lake called Goose Lake. And Goose Lake is a pretty cool little lake, beautiful setting. And we went trout fishing quite a bit. We went out on kayaks, we went out on boats. And my brother-in-law and I went out on the kayak for a while, and we had a hard time hooking up with fish. We kept looking over at my dad in the boat, though, and him, my daughter, and my sister kept catching fish left and right. My little girl, 10 years old, limited out pretty quickly on her first trip out on the boat. So that day, my dad had figured out what the fish were keying in on, and they were keying in on flashers trailed by a worm on a hook. So you might be wondering, what is a flasher? And I thought this would be a great video to do to tell you how you could troll for trout. So basically what you see here are a couple of different examples of flashers. A couple different colors, some different sizes in the blades. But basically what they all have in common is a rudder. And that will just help keep your flasher rig kind of tracking in the right direction. A cable, so that is like a steel leader, and it's sectioned so that they don't all bunch up together. So that's as far as this one can go. Most of them will have anywhere from 3 to 5 blades. The blades are typically a kind of a Colorado style rounded blade, but every now and then you'll see some that are more of a willow. These are a little bit of a mixture of the two, and you get a variety of different colors. Towards the end, you typically have a swivel snap hook set up, and you can attach a lure. Usually with a hook you would want a little bit of a leader. In one case, one thing that we found that worked really well was to actually tie on a wedding ring. This is called a wedding ring. It's basically a small flasher with a hook on it. What worked for us was actually trailing the flasher rig with a hook, either in a size 8 or a size 10, and a worm on it. We weren't using the whole worm, we were cutting them into thirds, and that worked great. Worked really good for us. But I know a lot of people have luck with spinners at the end, and sometimes spoons even. So, you know, try some different stuff. But this is the basic setup. This is what you're looking for. Got one. He feels good. Whoa. Yeah. I was using my KastKing Sharky 2 with this setup and 12-pound fluorocoat spooled on it, and a pretty sensitive trout rod, and it just seemed to work great. It's super fun catching trout on a pretty sensitive rod. It just makes that fight more enjoyable, but it also helps keep that hook from getting just blasted out of their mouth, torn out of their mouth. Nice. This is a good fish.
I told you, that lure is the bomb.
Oh, he's a good one, Dad. That's not normal.
Get in, Chris.
All right, here's your fish. As you guys can probably tell, we caught a ton of fish. This particular outing, this day, my dad and I both limited. And other people on the lake were catching fish too, but it just seemed like we had that magic touch. We were catching fish left and right. And one of the keys is trolling fairly slow. You don't want to go too fast. Even my son got in the action. He caught quite a few fish. My brother-in-law as well. It was his first or second time ever fishing from a kayak, and he limited out in like an hour and a half trolling a flasher rig. And it was just great fun seeing my dad and my son catch fish. You know, being in the boat with my dad and my son was awesome. And it wouldn't have been as good of a time, I think, if we didn't have these flasher rigs. Are you turning off?
No, not huge ones today, but
Yeah.
well,
It's pretty good.
not bad.
That's good.
Yeah, those are good ones.
No, there's still.
And you want to get it in the water? Get it in the water. No, just get it in the water. Yeah, right like that. Now up, 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 up.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, dude.
High five me, dude.
There was one day in particular, we all had a really busy day. We had about an hour and a half before dark. My dad, my brother-in-law, and I all jetted out. And we were all using these flasher rigs, and we limited out in an hour and a half. 15 fish in an hour and a half. Stick your rod out a little bit.
Out back towards them?
Now pull it towards Rick. Ooh, going under. Nice one. Bite. Bite. Okay, I got you now.
Okay, we'll let him off.
Rick shift left a little.
Whoa.
That's a nice one, guys.
Okay.
Where's he at?
He's right under the boat.
No, he's back over here.
No, but he's hooked. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm bringing him this way, and now I'm going to bring him back to you, okay?
Yep.
Ooh, he's a little nut shy. Yeah! Woo!
Nice, 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 nice.
Oh, barely hooked. Barely still good.
Hold that sucker up.
That's
That's
a
a
pretty one.
We sure had a blast using these flashers trolling. And if you have a kayak or a small little boat like this with a trolling motor, I really suggest trying a flasher out, especially in some of these cold, high mountain lakes that are a little bit shallow where the fish aren't super deep. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thanks for watching, and thanks for getting out west with Chris.